Hello, hello, hello. I hope you lovely people are doing okay. Those who will come in a little later and those who, will see this at a later time. Um, Forgive me for my voice. I did end up, as I was having a great time over the resurrection weekend, I ended up getting a little cold. So I'm sounding a little muffled. So forgive me for that. I need to drink some tea. Hey, Carl, how are you, my buddy? Silent Sports, how are you? Hey, Cece. Hey, Lester. Hey, Young Riez. Like I said, forgive me for my voice. Usually I try to talk a little sexy, but today I sound like I got so much stuffed up in my nose. I took off from work, so I just wanted to talk a little about this situation. For those who don't know, and there's a lot of people that watch me that don't know about this particular content creator. Her name is Arabia Barbosa. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But she has been dealing with a lot of things online, a lot of things that has happened, and Arabia's personal life has kind of spewed out on social media. Some of the things she deals with, mental illness, she's very vocal about her mental state of mind, as well as some of her addictions and things that she has been through in her past. And this is not to make content to embarrass anyone or to reprimand anyone. This is actually um, live for encouragement. It's also not only for encouragement, but it's also to direct maybe her or maybe someone that deals with certain things. Arabia, if you're listening, if you look in the description, you will see different centers that help with mental illness. It helps with, counseling, any suicide, any S, S word, anybody that wants to unlive themselves. Hey, Tamika, good to see you. Anybody that wants to unlive themselves, they have a number, a hotline where you can actually call and they can direct you to the help that you need. They even help people that have no insurance as well as Medicaid in the South Carolina area. I'm not for sure exactly where you are in South Carolina or if you're still in South Carolina, but I hope that this reaches you. Um, because this is something to direct you. You know, a lot of people want to give their advice, but they don't want to help anyone. They don't want to direct anyone into the right areas that they need to be directed into. And because, hey, Philly, and because I have a heart for Arabia, hey, Joshua, good to see you. I hope you're doing better. Um, a lot of us deal with a lot of things. We deal with some mental illnesses, we deal with some disorders, and some of us don't even think that we have them. But a lot of times, we do have different issues that have happened to us in our lifetime and trauma really creates different things in our life. They create a lot of imbalance when we have traumas that we haven't dealt with. And sometimes it's more noticeable on others than it is on some other people, and some people just don't know how to get the help, and some people don't are not sure, um you know if they do get the help, will it jeopardize maybe other things in their life that they have going on. But I've always said to myself that you are more important than anything. And if you are drowning in your own emotional chaos, then you are the one that is at risk of losing everything. Because when you don't have yourself, when you are not thinking clearly, when you are in so much turmoil that you can't even make the right decisions, you're really going to uh, mess up your own life. And sometimes that drama that chaos, it can blind you so much that you can't even see how you're headed in the wrong direction. And that goes into when people get in addictions, or they get in some type of behavior that will jeopardize, their livelihood, or jeopardize their life. So I wanted to I'm gonna play a little bit of Arabia's live that I was in there for yesterday, and it didn't set well with me. What was going on? I don't know what actually happened, but someone said something to her, and it really affected her. And this is why, as people, we have to be very careful of how we word things, especially when people are already close to the edge. You have to be very careful. And that just comes with people having a heart and thinking beyond themselves. Because a lot of folks say what they feel, and that's not always the best thing to do. A lot of times you have to really sit back, or you have to kind of watch your words when they come out your mouth about what other people, because you just never know that person, that last thing that you said, hey Liz, that last thing that you said to that person can make that person go over the edge. And then but some people have no remorse. They like, but you know what, karma is always coming back. So you have to be very cautious of how you treat people, the things that you say, in this day and age, especially in this uh, last year. I have been a little bit more, especially with the people that I love, even the people that I don't know, to say things to make people go over the edge, because you just never know. People seem strong, but that's not necessarily always the case. Hey Cache, how are you doing? And oh, okay, you said Tar Lady has done. Oh, okay. Now I see. I don't know anything about it, so I try not to speak on things I know. I just know with her, she was really affected by what was said, and it really seemed like that. She might have wanted to do something to herself. She might have wanted to harm herself. And sometimes, hey, atmosphere. And sometimes, you could say the right, well, wrong thing to somebody, and they could take it there. So we have to be very cautious of how we treat people, of what we say, how we say it, because you don't know how fragile people are. Hi, Silent, how are you? And hey, April, and I've had people behind the scenes reach out to me, and they felt away, they felt depressed, they felt like giving up. And I always had to say, I always felt like I God put me there at the time to encourage them, to let them know, hey, you're not the only one that deals with this. You're not the only one that feels alone. You're not the only one that feels like, even though you're in a crowded room, you still feel by yourself. There's so many other people that feel that way. They just hide it better than you. You know what I'm saying? So let's not look down on people that actually have issues. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll find out, if you really look at your life, there has been some moments in your life where you didn't know if how you gonna make it, or you didn't know if you wanted to go through another day. Let's just be real. And even if you didn't have those thoughts as far as taking your life, you've always, some people have thoughts of taking other people's life, or doing something that is out of the norm for them. Hey Eshu. And that's why we have to take mental illness and mental health very important, very important. You will lose yourself if you're not paying attention. You will get really bogged down in depression. Do you know how so many people that put on a smile, that have all the money, that have things going for them, they on Instagram? Hey THP, they're on Instagram, they on TikTok, and these are the same people that, if they had the opportunity, or if they wasn't scared enough, they would unalive themselves. Hey Tay, what's good? Selena, I did not see that yesterday, but I have seen other things done with certain content creators about this person's issue. So, oh, okay. Yeah. So I like I say, I try to stay pretty much, a little bit in the mix, a little bit out of it. Cause like I say, you can't get too deep with this stuff. And another thing I would like to advise people, when you have issues, please let YouTube be your last place to talk about it. People will exploit what you are going through. People will exploit your pain. So you have to be very careful of who you trust with your information. Everybody that says they're for you is not for you. And I don't know how much to stress this. There's sometimes I learned the hard way. Everybody that seems like they really for you, they not really for you. They could care less about your existence. If you were to do anything to yourself today, oh well, that would be to them. So you got to be careful who you express things to, who you talk to behind the scenes on here, because people just don't have that empathy and sympathy anymore like they used to. It's an end game for some people. Not everybody. There is some caring people that want to see you make it, that actually want to get you help. But the flip side to that is you actually have to want the help, because I see people crying for help, but I don't see them making steps to get the help that they need. So there's always a flip side to things. But if you really, yeah, if you really want the help, and you see yourself drowning in your depression and in the things that you're going through, make steps. You owe yourself enough to make steps. And that's why I put certain things in my description. And this is not, one of the numbers is not just for South Carolina. It's actually for anyone that has had the S word thoughts, and that's meaning to unlive yourself. Anybody that has those type of thoughts, or anybody that is that depressed, there is a hotline that I did put up on in the description box, that's for you to reach out to. um like I said, you would never think some people have certain issues, and that's because some people cover it up better than others. But we all have been through some things. Hey D, what's good? We all have been through some things, and we all have had a story. You know what I'm saying? We all have had some things where it's like, we just don't want to be here. There's been some times that people have felt that way. There's even been some times I felt that way. You know what I'm saying? So people cover it up better than others. Some people can't cover it up. So I wanted to kind of show a little bit of what was going on and how this didn't set well with me yesterday. I don't know the details of it. I really don't care to know all the details of it. But what I do want to bring awareness to is, be careful who you share things to. Uh, Take other people's mental health very seriously. Don't look at people as some people look at mental health, especially if they have a family member that has some mental illness and they're taking care of that family member. They'll just use that family member for money. You know what I'm saying? They'll use that family member to get sympathy from other people, whether it's at their church or other organizations. I've seen people use other people that they take care of in their family that have these same these same issues, or something close to it, for sympathy and empathy from other people. And I think that is a shame. But again, none of us, we are not the big judge. There's going to be a judge at the end of all of this that will judge us all. So we just got to be careful what we do and say to folks. I'm very, it irritates me when people don't even see their cruelness. It irritates me when people don't even see that, this is a real human being, whether I know you or not. This is a real person that has real issues, that has a real heart, that has some real problems. And to be, you know, like, oh, it's no, not, it's not a big deal, or I don't give a F. That's kind of a bad spirit and a bad way to be. Because it could be you. You know, some people have it all together one day, but who's to say you're going to be like that next day, the next day? Or who's to say you're going to be having everything you have next year? Life has a funny way of giving us what we sow. Whatever we reap, we're gonna sow. And as the Buddhists say, karma always comes back. What we put out in the atmosphere, it's gonna always come back. So it's like a boomerang effect. And I don't think people really realize that. I think people live in a world where they feel like reaping what you sow, it does not exist. Or people live in a world where they think that karma does not exist. It comes back. It may not come back tomorrow. It may come back years from down the line. But it may come back through your generation, the people that you leave behind. It's like it's very dangerous to live in a way where you have um no empathy for nobody, no sympathy for nobody. That's a dangerous way to live. And like I said, it's always on the flip side. Like I said, when you see that you are going down a downward spiral, don't cry about it. Find a way to change your life, especially when there is things out here to help you, to direct you into the right direction. I told y'all about years ago when I had somebody in that I knew that actually went through some situations to where she was displaced. Basically, this person that I knew that was homeless at one point, she was living with different relatives and friends and things of that nature, and she got into a program in Dallas. Uh, and it's called shared housing. And that shared housing helped her to get on her feet. It helped her to get free counseling, as well as it helped her with, her economic status. And she was able to get a job where she could support herself. And she got off of, living with relatives, living with friends, and was able to sustain her own place. And as she was able to sustain her own place, she still took her mental health very seriously. And now this person is doing better than she ever thought she would have done, or other people would have thought she would have done. And she took the initiative in her life to see that her life was going down a downward spiral. And she didn't cry about it. She cried about it for a little bit, but she got herself back up and she did what she needed to do. And when I heard about everything she went through, I was so impressed with her because she came so far. You know what I'm saying? And that that's a many stories that I've heard, the people that I have engaged with that actually have been through some bad situations. I got people in my family that has been through some situations that it's like, wow, you made it through. Like I said, you have to have the tenacity, you have to have the determination to want better, because nobody's going to want it more for you, or should want it more for you than you want for yourself. D says you never know what a person is going through that can put them at the breaking point, and YouTube is not for the weak-hearted. People are cruel. Exactly. And that's why I say it's very, very I'm just gonna say it's not a good idea. It's a very bad idea. It's a very bad idea to trust a lot of people on YouTube to share your heart with, to share your cries, to share your pain with people, because people are not going to give a hoot about what you've been through. Hey Joe, they're not gonna give 2 cents about how you feel like giving up, how you wanna just just end it all. Hey, Dimple D, what's good? They don't care. So it behooves you not to really share that to everyone. And really, I'm gonna say 1%, to be honest with you, would even care. So please, and this is not only for Arabia, this is for everybody that has some issues that you're going through. Don't go to YouTube for any type of camaraderie, any type of encouragement on, not everybody, but I'm going to say some people. You just have to be cautious with that. I'm going to share this little live with you. I'm not going to share all of it, but I just want y'all to just bring awareness to mental illness and mental health. I don't understand why people don't see that this is really serious. This is a very serious thing. Do you know the S word, which is people unaliving themselves, has increased in numerous of numbers within the last, I would say, 2 years? People don't want to be here. People they don't want to see another day. That's how painful it is to live sometimes for some people. Now, if you have never felt that way, that's great. But there's a whole bunch of other people that have. And to me, some people say, well, that's the coward way of doing it. Yes, maybe to some people it is. But if you have lived a life where things have always happened and it seems like you got the bad end of the stick, and you feel like it's not another way, it's no hope in it, then yes, you got a problem. And it's like, good for you if you have never felt that way. Hey, Cornbread. Hey, Big Booty Judy. Hey, Miss Riz. If you haven't felt that way, well, God bless you. But there's so many people that feel that way, that don't want to see another day, that can't find any hope in getting through nothing. They just don't want to be here. And I'm not talking about from things that I heard. I'm talking about from things I know. I've had some weak moments to where it's just like, what is the point? And guess what? I don't think I'm the only one. So I'm going to share this because to me, it really bothered me yesterday. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because like I said, regardless of, Arabia has said some kind of some things about me, called me weak, and I didn't appreciate that. But we had our thing, back in the day where she kind of felt like I chose the side, and it is what it is. I always choose my side for more than anything. Thank you, I appreciate you, Miss Riss. But it wasn't that. It's just I want to stay out the way. So, but I've forgiven her. But I appreciate Arabia for being herself. That's what I respect about Arabia. She's always been herself, whether it is good, bad, or indifferent, whether it seems a little strange. Arabia has always been herself. And I can appreciate people like that because they don't put on fronts. It is what it is. What you see is what you get from Arabia. So how can you not respect that? So anyway, there's a lot of things I don't agree with, but the fact of the matter is, Arabia has always been a person that you can tell that she wants to be loved and accepted. And to be honest with you, if we real honest with ourselves, all of us have felt that way. All of us wanted to feel like we loved. All of us have wanted to be accepted. Maybe not to the extent that she has felt, because maybe we were blessed enough to have friends and family that cared about us. But everybody hasn't had that. And so we got to be careful how we judge people and say, well, I don't understand this and understand that. Okay, well, hey, Denise, Have you been without a family? Have you been without a mama or a daddy that didn't care for you? Have you been in the foster care system? Have you been abused by people that were supposed to love you and take care of you? Have you? And if you haven't, then that would be the time where you should shut up. Because if you haven't experienced nothing like this, if you haven't been treated like a dog, if you haven't, I I hate when people mistreat children. That irritates me, that bothers me. And especially in the foster care system. I have been a teacher for almost 2 years. I have seen more foster kids than I have seen kids in normal place in placed homes. People that I've seen more kids that have struggled with people treating them like they're dogs or less than. And they don't deserve that. They didn't ask to be brought in this world. They didn't. And for people to treat other people like this and not know their story, that is offensive to me. That is just being cruel. And I'm not putting myself on a high horse. I got my own issues. I got my own stuff I'm dealing with and going to be held accountable for. But one thing about it that I understand and I don't fool with is people that mistreat children. And when these foster parents put these kids in their house and they misuse these children and see these children for a check, they see these kids for a check. They don't see these kids. I got foster kids. They right now, their foster parents see them for a check. They put them on high doses of medication because they want to get more money. That's what they do to these foster care kids. And God knows if it's a little girl, even the little boys now are getting abused sexually. You have no idea what these kids are going through. And some of them are bad as hell. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's a reason why they are the way they are. That's why when you come on here and you talk crazy to people and you do things to people, you don't realize what these people have been through. They are sometimes a 40 or 50 or 30-year-old kid because they are still going back to that trauma when they were 5 years old, when they were 8 years old, when they were 10 years old. This is what we're seeing. So when you want to judge people and when you want to talk down to people, you have to realize that they didn't have what you have. So really, you need to be very cautious of what you're saying. You don't know where people are in life. You don't. So I'm going to play this, and forgive me because I get upset because I just don't like how people say things to folks, and it really messes up their mental even more, you know. And like I say, I'm not talking about anybody else but Arabia. And hopefully she will take this in a great way, that this is for her to look at this situation and say, you know what, I really do need to get some type of help. And it might not just be for Arabia. It may be somebody that may look at this live and say, you know what, I'm feeling this way. I don't like how my life is heading. Okay. And I need to do something, to help. You're right, Miss Riss. Treat everyone with care. And sometimes you have to treat some people with kid gloves. You say, I tried to adopt my niece and I was told by her trash grandma told me to give her half of my household funds. That's really messed up. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, people put these kids in foster care and they think that, oh, they're going to be okay. Sometimes they're better out on the streets than they are in a foster care home, because you don't know what these people. Now, there is some foster parents that are good. There's some foster parents that will treat other people's children as if they were their own. The problem is it's few and far in between. That's the problem. So just gonna play just a little bit, and I want you to just kind of see where Arabia was kind of going with this.
We got one ghost watcher. One ghost watcher. Ghost watcher. If you can't hit the link, don't do anything. Just be you. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. I'm closing out this video. I see how much I'm loved on this YouTube streets. Nobody loves me. Just like Sister T said, nobody loves you. Nobody cares about you. You are unimportant. You're not important. Not to me, not to nobody. And she spoke the true words. Spoke them. I got other people listening to my voice. They want to listen. I got social workers listening to me. I got different people on this app want to listen to the voice of Arabia Barbosa. But listen to me. I was born in 1973. My two parents that bore me here didn't ask my fucking permission. Didn't ask my fucking permission. I grew up in New York. I grew up in the foster care system. The fucking foster care system. And I got adopted by those people. And the state of New York still paid them the same money they paid them when I was in foster care. So I knew they didn't love me. I knew they didn't love me. Shout out to the chat. Any man or woman I ever slept with, I knew they didn't love me neither. They just wanted what was in my fucking wallet. They wanted what was in my bank account. I'm seeing that very clear. Birdman, he's no longer welcome over here. He can't even come over here. KK, she's not welcome over here. She can no longer come over here. Those are the two people, a woman and a man, I slept with. And they never loved me like the way I loved them. They never did. Never did. KK, I think she was sexually attracted to me. I was sexually attracted to her.
I'm sorry. I said, how many of you guys have ever felt like you not every once in a while, but just think about if you've ever felt like no one cared for you, no one cared if you lived or if you died. You felt like this every day. This was a ongoing feeling. An ongoing feeling. And some of us were blessed not to even feel like that, or blessed to feel maybe not feel like that all the time. Every now and then we have our moments. Everybody gets sad. But if you did think this way every day, 24/7, how do you think and then see, this is why I say you have to be careful who you say things and how you say things to people. Sometimes the best thing for you to do If you can't be kind to people, it's to leave people alone. If I can't be kind to you, if I can't say a word of encouragement to you, I'm just going to leave you alone. I'm going to leave you alone. But some people don't have the capacity or the wisdom or the sympathetic kind of feeling to see that even though I'm not experiencing this, I can understand how it feels to be sad. I can understand how sometimes it feels to be rejected. But just think about somebody that feels like this all the time. And then you say something even worse to make them feel like, well, I'm really not. I'm really trash. I'm really not this. I'm really not that. What's the point of me being here? Our words, whether it is good, whether it's bad or indifferent, all of it, our words are powerful. And what we say and our actions and what we do to people, it holds a lot of weight, whether you think so or not.
We used to sing that song, Chasing Pavements. Chasing Pavements by Adele. And I knew then she was riding with me only to get what was in my pocketbook, only to get what was in my wallet, only to get the tax money back. Shout out to the chat. I knew. So Sister T is right. Nobody loves me. Now on this app and nowhere else. But what did I do to push everyone away? I'm distant. I'm distant. Shout out to the chat. At least I know what I did wrong. I know what I fucking did wrong. And I love you too, Kelly G. I love you. Selena, I will always love you. But you was right. You was right. You was right. Shout out to you. Shout out to both of these women. They're so brave to even type into the chat. So brave to type into the fucking chat. Shout out to the chat. My moderators are not here. They'll catch the playback. One of them is probably in the bushes right now because she's afraid. She's afraid. She's afraid. Don't be afraid of me, Arabia Barbosa. Don't be afraid of the BT 1000. Don't be afraid of Jeeper Creeper. Don't be afraid of Lucid the Vampire. Don't be afraid because.
And this is I'm gonna stop it right there. This is not to make a light. This is not something to say, oh, I'm gonna make her as content. It's nothing like that. Um this is to inform people that mental health is very important, and to laugh about it on YouTube. Oh, that person's really crazy. Hey, Kashawn. Hey, Ranisha. To think of it lightly and take it as comical. No, that's the wrong way to be. That's the wrong way to be. Um, if you came in late, Kashan, you probably have to go back at the beginning, talking about mental health and how it is very important and how it's the worst thing to do to share with people online some of the things that you've dealt with and you're dealing with that's really serious. Um, and Mel, thank you, Andre W. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, sweetie. It's not a laughing matter, right, Miss Riss? It's not a laughing matter. And I'm not making fun of this by no means. So anybody that says anything different, you'll lie. This is something very serious. And the way we treat people, it will, and that goes for me too. We will be judged on this side or the other. So the stuff that you say to people and talk to people like they trash, my God, what is wrong? What is wrong with people? What is wrong? Um, man, I don't even know. I'm I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. I'll put the link in the chat. I don't know if Arabia is watching or if she can, but I really do want to bring awareness to mental health. That is the field because I'm getting out of education pretty soon. So that is the field that I'll be going into because really, in all communities, all people of color struggle with it. It's not just Black people, it's all types of people that struggle with mental illness. And it and some of the times it's in our family. You know, hey V Mac, how are you? Thank you, Andre and V Mac, for joining me. Um, it's in our own family that we see it. And if it's not us, it's in our family. It's somebody we know, a friend or acquaintance of ours, you know, it goes everywhere. People have issues, and you know where that comes from. That's people that have unchecked trauma. They have had trauma after trauma. Hey, Rare Money. They have had trauma. Hey, Ann. They've had trauma after trauma that makes them go into that other alter ego where they become a total different person, and they use an alter ego to protect themselves because they still go back to when they were 8 years old and something happened to them and they had to put on this protective shell to feel like they were in control of the situation, even though they were not in control. They felt like they had no control. You know what I'm saying? So they put on that alter ego to make them feel like they are really that, they're in control of the situation. They're strong, and all that is unchecked trauma. That's what that is. I'm gonna read some of these comments because I have dealt with some mental health issues I had to get in control of. And guess what? I'm not the only one. It's some people that don't think that they have some issues. They are the biggest one that has issues. A narcissist is a person that can't even see that they are the poison. you know, especially when you're already aware that a person is already fighting their own issues. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I agree, Cache. When you know a person has some type of issues, that would be the time where either you say nothing or you say something positive or you say something encouraging to them, not make a situation worse. That goes for anybody. That's not any one particular person. That goes for me and anybody else. I don't know this content creator, but the pain in her voice speaks volumes of pain and the grave importance of having a loving social circle, investment in protecting self-esteem. Correct, Stufu. That is very correct. And like Mel W say, a lot of people are desensitized in this day and time, and it's really scary. It's really scary that people don't even see other people as other human beings. That's the scary part. I was in a VA PTSD clinic for a few years. The right medication came from a regular doctor. I felt experimented on. Medication is not always the key. Sometimes ongoing counseling can help. with your issue. It's not, everything does not need to be medicated. Everything is not so much of a chemical imbalance. It's just basically someone that maybe need to be heard, or maybe need to feel accepted. And a lot of that is, if you can't learn to love and accept yourself, you're going to have a hard time with having and sustaining relationships around you. Everything starts with self first. When you deal with loving and getting to know yourself and accepting yourself, either good, bad, or indifferent, and you learn to love and accept yourself, you will learn how to have better relationships with other people. Because when you're constantly not dealing with yourself, not loving yourself, you're constantly really repelling people from you, because you come off as being needy. You come off as being a person that you're trying to overcompensate for things. So you start doing things to get people's love and acceptance, and it comes off not in a good way. It comes off very needy. It comes off very just like you're just begging and yearning for love and acceptance. And when you can't give that to yourself, you can't actually have healthy relationships. You got to start with self first. You got to start with looking at you and saying, I know that I don't have it all together. I know I'm this type of person, but you know what? I love myself. This is who I am. I can be better. I can, do better. You have to start saying affirmations to yourself. And then at one, and sometime in your life, eventually you will start to accept things about yourself. You'll start to appreciate things about yourself. You know, back in the day, I never realized how hilarious I was. I even laugh at myself now. That's a part of me that I have accepted. I'm goofy. So I accepted that about myself, and I appreciate that about myself. I'm starting to love myself and accept me for who I am. So I have better relationships with people now because I'm loving who I am. Before, when you don't really love who you are, when you have so many insecurities, it bogs you down, and you start to do extra stuff when it doesn't even, the situation or the people are not even asking for it. They just want you to be yourself. Oh, I've been through that. I didn't go to a therapist because I didn't want to go on medication. I went to a hypnosis to unlock things in my subconscious to get answers about myself. Okay. Everybody does different methods, whatever works for you. And just to be clear, sometimes therapists and counselors, they don't always give you, put you on medication. Some things it doesn't need for medication. Uh, you know, so I hate when people bully or manipulate, document mental ill people. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it either. And that's why I had to speak on. I hope I spoke to you, Ann. Hey, Juicy, what's good? Yeah, so we got to learn to be careful with our words and what we say. Selena, it's evident that you prioritize accountability and are proactive about seeking assistance for yourself. You first have to acknowledge the fact that you need help. Anything else? Yeah, you have to. You can't always point the finger at you. You have to see what you need to do. Okay. And then you said, right, Selena, medication alone isn't always the answer. Some things you need to figure out yourself. Right. And that's why sometimes counselors, because they are objective, they're, they have no dog in the fight. So they're listening to everything that you're saying, your nonverbal and your verbal. They're listening to your past trauma. They're listening to what you're dealing with now. So they're very objective. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes it just takes a listening ear. It just takes somebody to be there to hear things out. And when you see people are already struggling and they're dealing with issues that are above your head, you know what I'm saying? It's not for you to make fun of it. It's not to make things worse. It's either to get them help or to point them in the right direction or to just be quiet. You know, I've always heard from my grandmother, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. A lot of times we make situations worse because of our mouth. But I always say there's always a flip side of it. You have to be careful who you give your information to. Hey, Uncle L, how are you? You have to be careful who you give your information to. That will save you a lot of pain when you learn to watch who you give your information to and not think everybody is for you. You know, a lot of times, I'm going to be honest with you, I learned the hard way. In some ways, I was hard headed because certain things I did know and I went, into it anyway, because I'm thinking, well, maybe, no, it ain't no maybe. It is what it is. And people are who they are, right? There's no other ands, ifs, and buts in it. So when you see things and when you know things and you have observed how people, certain, like it's people in your family. I'm gonna give you an example that you know have told you other people's in your family business. They have talked about them like a dog and then came back to you and told you everything. And on top of that, you go back and tell them something that you dealing with, that you struggling with, and then that person takes your information and told some of them other cousins that they was talking about, and you get mad. You can't get mad. You have to consider the source. You have to consider what another person has did to another person. For sure, they will do to you. That's just what it is. Watch people's behavior. We always talk about on here watching people's behavior. You have to do that in your family. You have to do that everywhere. Where, however, another person treats another person, just because you're on their good side, don't think that they're not going to do it to you when they get mad at you. They're just not. They're going to do you the exact same way that they did another person. At the time, they weren't mad at you, so you're good, right? But woe to the time when you do. They're going to drag you like you've never been dragged before. And all you need to say is, it was my fault, because it was. You give your information to someone that you know, right, Lonnie, that cannot hold water to save their life. And then you get mad and you crying because you seen what she did to that cousin over there. You seen what she did to that other cousin, and you took all their information in. Then you give her some information, she gonna drag you the same way. It is what it is. I mean, I've had cousins like that. And guess what? I only tell those cousins what I want them to know. And that's very little. Thank you, Cece. I appreciate you. And that's very little. Thank you, Andre and Cece. I appreciate you guys. And whoever hit my cash out, thank you for that. Hey, King CP3. Like I say, learn by what people say and do. Learn by your experiences. We don't go through things just because. We go through things to learn from them and to apply them to our lives. There will be some people I will not ever trust because they've proven to me that they are untrustworthy. So I got to look at my life and say, am I trustworthy? Can somebody give me information and it not go back to somebody else? So I always I'm checking myself now. So when somebody that trusts me enough to tell me some information, I got to be able to hold it. Hey, just saying. And not go back and tell another person. See, that's when I start turning it around on myself. And I start looking at me and say, hey, there was some information that was told to me that I didn't prove to be trustworthy. So I got to start looking at myself and start getting myself in order. It ain't just about other people. Sometimes the enemy in the mirror is looking right at you, and it's you. So let's just be clear on that. So anytime now people have given me information, now I'm learning to keep it to myself. Why? Because I want to be trustworthy. I want somebody to be able to trust me with whatever secret they tell me. So we go through things to learn things. We don't go through things to keep repeating it over and over again. If there is something that you are dealing with and there's nobody around you that you can talk to or reach out to, look online. There's so many resources online, even for people that have Medicaid, people that don't have insurance, right? And so there's so many things online that you can look and find. But you got to look at yourself as being worth it. I don't think a lot of people see themselves as being worth, getting help. Because it comes to a point where we got to get beyond, um, you know, crying about stuff and being sad about things and upset about things. There comes a point where we have to take our own mental health into action and getting the help that we need. You know, I've heard so many people that were addicts and say, I want the help, I need the help, but they never make the step to go and get it. And some people, they make the step, but then they give up just in time when things were about to change for them. And now they feel stagnated, right? So you have to make up in your mind that this is what I want to do. I'm worth it, right? And once you do that and you make the steps, don't give up. Don't give up. True, that pride hurts a lot of people. Yes, it does. It really does, Rare Money. And a lot of times, people don't even realize that they're so prideful. Pride messes up a lot of people. Number one, they can't admit when they're wrong, and number two, they can't admit when they need help. So you messed yourself up. those two points. You can't give up, right, King? Life is about living, and sometimes we're gonna get it right, and sometimes we just ain't gonna get it right. But it ain't gonna help us if we give up. It's not going to help us. So that's really pretty much all I have to say on the situation. I really hope Arabia takes this in love and understand that this was not just for her, but it's for anybody that struggles with some issues, anybody that has things going on in their life that they need help with. Don't go to YouTube for therapy. I mean, it can be to an extent, but please, hey Kevin, don't let YouTube and be the place where you get the love that you want or need. Don't let that be the place. Selena, this problem is affecting our children in a lot of ways. I believe we create a society with people who cannot cope with not being accepted. I'm gonna say yes. You remember back, what was that? We call it flag. It was Flag Day, but it was kind of like a day. It was the end of the school year where we had to play these games and stuff like that. I forgot what it was. Flag Day. They call it Flag Day in Dallas. It might have been another name where you were, but it's like a whole bunch of relay races and stuff like that. And they would give the winners they big prizes, but they would give all the participants, um, a some type of award. And the thing about that is sometimes they can be good, sometimes they can be bad, because you got to realize, okay, you didn't win this time, and that's okay, but you just lost. And in life, we're not going to get no awards, if we didn't win something or if we didn't succeed in something. We just lost it. Sometimes we set kids up to believe that, it's going to be our way all the time. It's not going to be our way all the time. Everything is not going to be good all the time. We're not going to win it all the time. We're not going to be successful all the time. That's just a part of life. And sometimes we set kids up for failure when we do things like that. It is what it is. You didn't win this time, you might win it the next time. And I think that, everybody shouldn't get a reward. It is what it is. You didn't win this time, don't mean you're a loser. You just lost this race. But you could win the next race. I mean, it is what it is. I make it my mission to uncover the silver lining, but every now and then I stumble upon a landfill instead. It's all a part of a human experience, finding the good amidst in the garbage. Ain't that the truth? There is purpose in your pain. And if you haven't found the purpose, keep keep living. My cash app is Selena Star, Miss Ann. I appreciate it. It's Selena Star. I I thought I put it up there. But yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm going to have to revisit the definition of pride, because I have pride, but it's not of an evil spirit. Um, Let me say this. Pride to me is when you have respect for yourself, and so, in some ways you hold yourself in a higher regard. But sometimes being prideful, when you're so prideful, it could be a detriment to you, because being prideful is another way of sometimes having false arrogance. It's kind of like you see other people beneath you. That's how I describe it, but I could be wrong. If somebody wants to give another definition, they can. I appreciate you, Evo. Thank you so much, Miss Ann, Rare Money, Troy. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I don't know if y'all want me to call out your name, but I already did it. Sorry. Thank you so much. I know what's weird to me, Selena. This chat should have been packed house, because it's something that we all need to know, accept, and acknowledge in self and others. But it's obvious most of us like the mess. I mean, and that's okay, because I was over there in damn D's chat. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all see me over there. It's okay to get it, to listen to certain things sometimes, you know. Um, just not all the time, it's other things to discuss. It's a real world outside of some of the drama on YouTube. It's a real world outside, and we gotta look at that more than we look at the drama on here. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Like I told you, I was over there too. So let me not lie about that. I was over there right in there saying, hey, because I'm really kind of curious about the situation. Some of the things I don't quite understand, because I was in and out of listening to the information, with the Biz 101 situation and the Darrell situation, about him molesting someone. So I was listening to that the other night. I'm like, my God. And I'm pretty sure this is one of my half sisters, not the one that I'm closest to, but she was raped by her own uncle. Now, it wasn't my uncle. Like I said, she's my half sister. So she was 14 years old, and her own uncle raped her. So That's very, to me, it's a little bit personal to hear a story like that more than anything, because her own uncle raped her, and my daddy almost went to jail. You know, he almost went to jail for that. For almost unaliving him. So it was a lot going on. This was even before I was born. My this sister, I think she's 15 years older than I. So this was before I was born, and she was 14 years old, and she was raped by her own uncle. And I even believe, even in her age of being in her see, she's either in her late 40s, late 40s. I'm assuming even with the things that she's been through, she has been through some things. She's been through some relationships that were not successful, because I don't even think she dealt with the trauma like she should have. And that was to get help and to admit that some of the things that happened to her were not her fault. And I think people had reinforced that to her sometimes, but I still think that she needed more help, um, you know, counseling wise, and some type of therapy to help her, because this was something that you would never think your own flesh and blood, your own uncle, somebody that was supposed to love you and take care of you, would do something like that. But guess what? This happens to a lot of families. A lot of people be going through stuff like this. They just don't talk about it. And I probably will touch on it. I was going to do a live tonight, but I'll probably do it on Thursday. I'll probably touch a little bit on the biz and the other situation, but I'm going to tie it into um, how it happens in our communities. And like I said, all people of color have experienced it. It's not just the Black people, or African American people. People around the world, can you imagine people around the world, little girls and little boys, have to experience being some type of being sexually abused? It's a real issue. It's a real issue. And that's going to be on my Selena couch, where I'll go over just a little bit, because like I said, I don't like to dive all the way into it. I feel like enough people are doing it, and they're doing a great job on both sides. I just don't want to, get too far into it. But yeah, it's too much. But I'm gonna do that probably on my Selena's couch. I'm talking about sexual abuse and things of that nature. And people can come up if they want to maybe expound on it, or some people are not really comfortable with sharing their own experiences that they've dealt with. Um, but it happens more than not. I believe Dee has been giving good content on the real trauma of SA, but also how the justice system can fail those not necessarily guilty. It's interesting. Yeah, like we'll see. What I'm gonna try to see how I'm gonna try to break a little bit of it, but like I said, I don't want to get too far into it. Some of that stuff is like, whoa. I was listening at some of it on. I think I listened to both sides. Brown skin lady, I was listening to her. I was listening to Amando's. I'm like, it's a lot going on this app, man. I'm just like, shoot. Sometimes I don't know if I want to touch certain things. And then two, sometimes it can be redundant. Like you going over the same stuff over and over again. It's just a lot. So we'll see. I'm gonna see how I can tie that in, and maybe some of y'all can help me. Those who like to hit people's panels, can come up here and help me out with some of the things that I may have not um, heard. So yeah, some of you guys can do that. when I go live. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm probably gonna do it Thursday. I'm gonna do Selena's Couch Thursday. You said Selena watched The Heat of the Night. That used to be my show, boy. Back in the day, I used to watch that with my aunt Teal, and we used to. Because at first I was like, "This is an old show. I don't want to watch this." Then I started watching it. I was like, "Oh, I kind of like it." Heat of the Night, family affair that hits the core of family incest. People are sick, and guess what? It's been happening from the beginning of time. People did it in the biblical days. Let's just be honest. Come on now. Come on now. They've been doing it forever. It's nothing new up under the sun, as Solomon would say. Nothing new up under the sun, y'all. But like I said, be careful how you treat other people. And remember, we all are going to reap what we sow, one way or the other. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or a year from now, or maybe a few years from now, we gonna get it. Okay. I don't care. He's still Archie Buncher. I can deal with the type. I can't deal with that type of content. It messes with my spirit. I know that's right. Yeah, some stuff. Hey, how are you? Life of Tashana. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Good to see you. Y'all check out all of these content creators that's in my live Life of Tashana. She does a great job. Kind of like a little bit like Miss Yo Thoughts, but she does a lot of gardening. She does. Y'all check her out. Those who are interested in having your own garden. She does a really good job on that. I don't know who else in here is a content creator. Empress Lonnie One Love. Rare Money, you need to get your own page out. you probably do really well with content. Let's see who else is a content creator. You know who you are. I think Silent Sports. I think he does content still. You have a lot of people. Just saying, do you still have your page? Do you go live? If Just saying still in here. Um, I don't know if I have any. I think Cece. I don't know if Cece, if you can put people's channels in here, I appreciate it. Or you guys can maybe do your own. But I appreciate you guys for coming through. Like I said, this was a shoe's still in here. Rap Money, whoever can put people's channel in here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I know it was much more exciting things on YouTube that you could be listening to. Because like I said, I was over there listening to Damn D and listening to what he was saying about the situation. But he was just basically doing, I guess, a reaction of the live that Armando did last night. And for those who don't know, that's another content creator, Mondo Black. So like I said, this is all interesting to me in a way, but you said I will not. I don't blame you, because some of this stuff, honey, they'll get you in mess more than you expected to be in. So y'all, thank you so much for stopping through. And the bush watchers, those who want to see what I'm talking about and you don't want to come to chat, especially if you come with good intentions, I appreciate you. Please press the like button. And those who don't, they just want to see if I'm going to be talking about them. No, I'm not. So press the like button as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Big Booty Judy. I appreciate you. Thank you, Rare Money. I appreciate your support. Even though you didn't give me hearts the other day, I'm gonna get you for that. Thank you, Philly. Thank you, Philly. I guess nobody wanted to come up to discuss the situation. I wish I had some new people that would like to have come up and talk a little bit about it. Thank you, Young Rez. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I'll be back probably. I ain't gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna change that live. I'm gonna chill out. Plus, I got some homework to do. But I will definitely be back on I'm trying to say, God willing, on either Wednesday or Thursday. So keep looking out for Selena's Couch where you are more than welcome to come up, share your grievances, talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I just have to sit there and listen. Every now and then I'll give my feedback on it. So that's what we'll be doing. So God be with you guys. Love y'all to Reese's Pieces. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and thank you for the super chats and the new memberships, as well as the cash apps. You know who you are. Love you to Reese's Pieces. Hello, hello, Miss Regina. Thank you. Love you to Reese's the Pieces, and I'm out. Bye bye.